Oh my goodness, welcome back to the channel. I'm Cody. This is my reaction series. We have Acharya Prashant. How free are your thoughts in life? Let's test it. I'm very interested to see how enslaved I am to my own programming. Let's take a listen. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
You will have to watch yourself continuously, dispassionately, ruthlessly. Your dreams are not yours. Your
Interesting.
targets are not yours.
Interesting.
What's
Whose
the
are
point
they?
in chasing them? You don't need a new direction to go towards. You
That's a
need
good
to
point.
ask these paths, these contours, these maps that I have supposedly chosen for myself. Where are they coming from?
Where are they coming
You
from?
don't need any vision of the future. You need freedom from the foolishness of the present.
I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful. I feel like we feel incomplete, and so we take on missions and purposes to complete ourselves with some externalized resource. That could be a dream, a vision, a goal, an accomplishment, a status, a material object. But I think if we really realize that we are fully complete now and nothing is missing now, then we have nothing to chase. The game, the foolish game, is over, and we get to exist and have total freedom of our own choices, our own mind. Let's keep going.
Most of us die physically without ever having taken birth.
Okay, disclaimer, you can read it.
Please welcome Acharya Prashant.
Let's go, AP! Oh.
Today, I, Gaurav, on the behalf of the Literature Club of IIM Bangalore,
Just gonna get right into it, guys. Sorry. Congratulations, AP.
Please.
Here we go.
Thank you. Yes, let's begin, please.
Yes, please.
We'll keep it conversational, to and fro.
Namaste, Acharya ji. So my question was, when we make important life decisions, how do we distinguish between like natural thinking and conditioned thinking? So there are some things like you get some genuine wisdom, and there are things like which are conditioned to us. So how to distinguish between them?
Inquiry is the only route. Otherwise, there is no way you can ever detect whether your thoughts, internal processes, feelings, and importantly, conclusions and decisions are your own, really, original, or whether they are products of an implanted process. You will never.
Crazy to think how our whole lives were being implanted with programming, from endless news cycles to people who have walked this earth before us, who have told us what's the right path. And do we have any real free thoughts? Are they all just conditioned thoughts? Let's figure this out together.
Never come to know. What has been implanted within, that which you are calling as conditioning, is an implanted thing. And once it has entered your insides, it will always appear innate.
Yikes.
In the normal run of things, human beings lack the capacity to differentiate between what is original and what is borrowed. That which is borrowed very quickly, very unnoticeably starts appearing one's own, homemade, native. So one puts the force of all his confidence behind his thoughts and feelings and decisions. One says, these are my own, and I'm confident. This is what I am thinking, right? This is what I am feeling. That's what I have thought out for my future. I. The I is such a lonely thing. It just wastes no time in latching on to whatever object.
It's so true. Our mind loves to stick to things. And there's no way to slow down the mind. It just sticks. It just sticks. Our attention is everything. Our attention is really our consciousness. And the mind loves to stick. It loves to get on a track, like a train track. If you have one thought about something, it just keeps coalescing. So we have to be deliberate on where our train of momentum is going within our attention. I think you can't really slow down the mind, but then you can also see it as like, hey, the mind's thoughts are like passing clouds in the horizon. They're just clouds. You don't have to pay attention to every single one of them. Water flows. Just allow your thoughts to flow. You don't have to stick to them. And our mind, some way, somehow, maybe it's the ego that has this big survival mechanism that loves to think of all future possibilities of what could go wrong. And so our mind loves to stick to the negative. And once we know that one, we aren't the mind, and two, our mind loves to go down the gutter, we can just allow the gentle game to play out. When you see the mind kind of going down that little turn, you can go, there it is again, trying to protect itself. But that's a game you can master by not taking the mind and its endless chatter so seriously. And when you're not gripping everything so tightly, you actually regain control of your life. It's actually the key to control. That if you want control back into your life, it's not about trying to control everything. It's about actually letting go of everything. That letting go, paradoxically, gives you full freedom in your life again. You don't have to control anything. That's freedom. When you truly know that there's nothing in the mind that you have to fundamentally control, you can just allow it to do its little thing. It'll stop freaking so much. It can't win like it used to because you're not taking its little noises so seriously. It's almost like you want to be just as detached as, let's say, someone else is having all these thoughts and feelings and emotions, and you don't self-identify with those. Those are that person's thoughts and feelings, right? Well, that's kind of what you want to do with your own mind. It's not really you. It's just a conglomeration of a lot of different things, from native programming to external programming. Like, you don't have to take it so seriously. You can enjoy it and you can use it. It's like a sword, right? It's like a sword. It can be utilized as your greatest weapon, or it can self-destruct and you can penetrate yourself, which we don't want to do because it's kind of painful when the mind goes down the gutter and we get this psychological tension and anxiety and phobia and fear and trepidation and superstition and all this stuff. We can't even function. We can't have fun in life. All the humor and ease has been ripped and robbed away from us because we've taken this little mind pattern that we've maybe kind of got locked into through habits and just thinking over the same things and obsessing over the same things. It's not you. It's just a program, and to upend and uproot the program, you just have to stop sticking to it and thinking that it's so real. It's not real. It's just thoughts and feelings, just like a stream of water coming and going. It's you sticking to it that gives it momentum and that allows it to stay with you indefinitely. And so we want to move beyond that. Let's figure out how. I'm just a peasant. Let's go.
It can get hold of.
Oh, where's my volume? Huh.
Something.
Oh no, we lost volume.
Right?
Hold up. This happens sometimes with my new audio interface. Technical issues, but let's get going.
This is what I am feeling. That's what I have thought out for my future. I. The I is such a lonely thing. It just wastes no time in latching on to whatever object it can get hold of. And once it has touched something, it gets identified with that. So a very foreign idea might enter your mind And once you get associated with it, you will start claiming ownership. You'll say it is mine.
Stick.
It is mine.
Stick.
And if somebody then questions that idea or invites you to debate, you might even feel offended or provoked. You'll say, this is my idea and you're questioning it. It is not the idea that you are questioning. It is my I-ness that you are questioning, because now my I is attached, rather identified with the idea. So if you question that
Attachment, identified, sticking, it's all the same cue on what the mind loves to do and says this is us, or this is what we stand for, so we must fight for it. It's ridiculous.
idea, you are questioning their I-ness. You are questioning, by implication, their existence itself. I is your existence, right? So I am identified with a particular attire, trousers, jackets, saris, whatever. Nothing, an inanimate piece of clothing. But if that becomes a part of my identity, and we are saying the ego is such a hungry beast,
It's
it will
hungry.
very quickly associate itself with anything and everything it gets hold of, because nothing satisfies it. Since nothing satisfies
true.
it, it is always eager to bite into, to pierce into, to take grip of, to clutch whatever
It's like
is
a
the
hungry,
next thing,
hungry hippo.
subtle or gross, that it comes across.
Yep.
So it could be a piece of clothing, it could be an idea, thought, feeling, whatever.
Yep,
If
yep.
it comes to the self, the self has a great tendency to get identified with it. Identification could be both in affirmation and negation. For example, I am a conservative or I am a liberal. So I am already committed to a particular idea.
It's actually very true. It's actually very true. The mind loves to stick. I told you, sticky, 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 sticky. That's why, like, part of my channel, like, I don't want to have to do my hair every day or wear something nice. Like, we're just keeping it real over here. If you like watching me when I'm dressed up and polished, great. If you don't mind me sloppy and bedhead and all that, great. But I don't want to stick to a need to always have to look fashionable to do my channel. One, it's working from home, so let's stay comfortable, right? Let's keep it easy and effortless. Doesn't mean we have to be lazy, but you know what I mean. I like to do these in the morning when I'm just kind of getting to and fro, and I can listen to something very educational and potent and juicy and real and raw while my mind is looking for something to follow. I'd rather take this train. That's why I think we should always plug into something in the morning that puts us on the right track for the day. Does that make sense?
Right? I'm already committed. So if the opposite of that idea comes to me, I'll again be identified to the opposite, because that's my very nature, the nature of the ego, to be identified. I'll again be identified to that idea, but via negativa. So I'll become a sworn enemy of the liberals. That's again identification. That's again a statement of identity, is it not? Who am I? Slayer of the liberals or hater of the conservatives. That's again a statement of identity. So one identity gives birth to several identities. There is no way the ego can let go of anything. It is, we are saying, always hungry, always lonely,
Hungry, hungry hippo.
always seeking company, always seeking an object that can fulfill it.
Yep.
Hmm?
Yep.
So once the ego gets associated, it starts claiming ownership. It says the thing is mine. The thing is mine. I want a fat pay package. How do you know it is your own thought? How do you know? How do you know?
Good question.
I think mine is the best country of all. I think my thoughts are superior to those of my neighbors. How do you know? I think my gender has a biological and historical right to dominate. I think my gender is made to provide care and emotional nourishment. How do you know? How do you know? Hmm? That's the thing. The questioner is asking, how do I know? And that's what I'm bouncing back to you. How do you know? How do you know? The thing is, we do not know, but still we are very confident.
Very
That's the
confident.
problem. And there is nothing within that's going to raise a red flag of suspicion. There's nothing within that would ever say, sir, hold, wait, watch, question. You did not always believe in these things. From where did these things come to you? Can you ask? No, I don't want to ask. Because if I ask, then it is terrible because I run the risk of making the ego lonely again. The ego is now finding some comfort associated with some idea. And if the basis of that association is questioned, and if that association happens to be ruptured, then the ego becomes, I'm so lonely. Again, something is gone. So even if the association is false, the association has to be maintained. And if the association is to be disrupted, then you will have to go through inner pain. That pain is the price for living a truthful life.
Beautiful.
Well, believe me, whatever we are associated with, there is a great chance. I dare not say 100% chance, though the thing is, it is a 100% thing. But there is a great chance if you will question it, it will
Fall
be
apart.
proven to be false. That's the way of Vedanta. That's the way of honesty. To keep questioning whatever you know. The epistemological lens, that filter, that asks, how do I know? How am I sure of the validity of my knowledge, my conclusions? How do I know of anything? How do I know that even I exist? Well, that's taking things too far. We'll not go that far. But how do I know that, such and such thing must happen? So there is this delimitation exercise, not the exercise really, the debate currently raging. And if you look at what people are saying on both sides of the divide, it's
Studies reveal that the average Indian spends twice as much on a wedding as on their education. India hosts around 80 to 1 weddings every year, making it the world's largest wedding market, leaving behind China and the US. Crazy. Lots of marriages over there, but spend twice as much on that than education. One, education here in America has tanked a lot. And so, and the cost is skyrocketed. So for most degrees, they're not worth the cost. That's a whole different argument, but I understand what he's saying here is why are there priorities like this in the Indian culture? Let's find out.
And if you look at what people are saying on both sides of the divide, it's so interesting. And everybody is so confident. And nobody wants to ask, sir, how do you know? Sir, how do you know? The North deserves to have a certain premium, because it is the North that defended the South from all the external invasions. Sir, how do you know? How do you know? Is it coming from history or from where? How do you know? We don't ask. Well, the North has been left behind because there was the freight equalization thing that enabled South to leap ahead. The South is ahead because the Chinese and Pakistani missiles were more prone to reaching the North. So all the industries were set up in South. All this is what is going around. And we don't want to ask, how do you know? We are not saying what you are saying is false. We are just asking, how do you know? How do you know? Anybody can earn money. but it is the North that defends the frontiers. So shouldn't we subsidize them? How do you know? Are you getting it? Now, in this case, it is probably easier to know because you could consult lots of history books, you could apply your own discretion, and you could come to some sort of fair judgment as to what is really going on, what the whole thing is about, what are the political dimensions, what are the historical angles, and you can come to know. But when it comes to your insights, it becomes a little more difficult to know because now something very personal is at stake. Something very personal. That something very personal is called the I. And there is no way of knowing whether you are conditioned or not except going through the process of inner pain. Inner pain. You'll have to question a lot of things. You'll have to question everything. It requires a lot of inner boldness. It requires a commitment towards honesty.
This is great. It's also very heavy, that you have to question everything that you assume and this and that, the other, and you have to break it down and go through inner conflict to get to a new reality. All this is good. All this is good, and there's a process here that definitely needs to happen. But also, I think there's just an even bolder process, and that process is who cares? Who cares about why the North and the South and this and that? My thing is that we don't have to attach our energy to so much nuanced stuff. We can just let it all go and remain unstickified from all the noise out there. It doesn't mean that you can't draw conclusions and come up with opinions or use logic to rationalize different things and see a different lens or viewpoint. But we don't need to get so attached to all the heap of memory that we have, or the heap of assumptions that we have. So we need a broad enough awareness to realize that our assumptions aren't really us, and maybe our assumptions aren't even actually true. But reality is seen through your own personal lens, based upon the beliefs / assumptions that you've curated over time. But you don't need to have a feeling or a thought about everything. There is a way to live where you're just more not bogged down by all of that heap of memory, and you can just exist in the present moment where things are just, and have a trust and a freedom that things are going to be orchestrated the way they're supposed to. That doesn't mean that we don't take action or we don't have desires or dreams or visions, but this is heavy, and we all need to, of course, go through it. But I think there's a balanced approach here, and I hope AP says this is good, but also relax.
That's what is called really being spiritual. Are you getting it? Otherwise, it's a very...
This is the perfect time to drop a joke, by the way, and get people lighthearted again.
easy, quick, and cheap way to just assert anything. I am the best, my wife is the best, my kids are the best, my choices are the best, my marks are the best, my job is the best, my neighborhood is the best, my gods are the best. Everything that's related to me is the best because I'm the best. Fine. Very easy to claim all that. What's the real meaning of the term integrity? It is to not to have a dissonance between truth and your truth. And there is nothing that's further away from the truth than one's own truth. Personal truth, that's the enemy of truth.
Mm. 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 Mm.
One requires, we all know our track records, no? The kind of inner achievers we are. We might put things on our CV, I understand that.
I don't know what CV is.
I come from a similar campus, so I know how we build up and decorate our CV, so that's one thing. But we know internally who we are. We know our track record. Then how do we manage to back ourselves so strongly, so unflinchingly? One should have some suspicion, if not cynicism, no?
Yeah.
If I know who I am and what I have been, and I also know that I can't change overnight, I won't trust myself too easily. Or
Good.
would I? In fact,
Yeah.
I would say,
If your track record is what we call piss poor, yeah, you probably shouldn't trust your mind's thought patterns. They're not really having a good, clean track record, and that's great.
if it's appearing to me, then it ought to be false. That's the mantra I sometimes give to some of my selected, most loved people. See, just do the opposite of what you feel like, and there is a 90% chance you'll get it right.
It's true when we're trapped into a certain thought bubble or pattern or matrix. The truth for you, the best thing you can do, is often opposite of what you feel like doing, because the ego wants to protect itself. So your feelings are going to kind of stem from those thought patterns, and those thought patterns are there to preserve its existence. So I love this advice. Do the opposite of what you feel.
When I have to take a decision, sometimes I call in people to consult them. And I want to hear their opinion just so that I do the opposite of it.
There's a good joke. Needed it.
We all should have this kind of attitude towards ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Don't take it all so seriously, my friends.
We love slippery slopes, no? So if that's the direction our being is feeling impelled to, then we must know that the heights, the tops, the mountains
Sorry.
lie in the opposite direction. If I feel impelled towards that direction, then there is a 90% chance that that's the direction of the bottom. The right side would be there, probably exactly to the opposite. Aren't slippery slopes always inviting? You don't have to do anything. Just slip. You could even slip sleeping. Comfortably you are sleeping, and yet so much movement is happening. Like sometimes in 2 years in the campus, you don't even know when you have graduated. That internal sleep is a very typical thing. Keeps happening. Externally, we might feel our eyes are open. The way of inquiry. The more confident you feel about something, the more suspicion it should arouse.
I love these paradoxical thoughts and these paradoxical inquiries. Absolutely. I think this is not such a black and white conversation, though. I feel like if you have overzealous confidence in the way you might assimilate how things operate in reality, sure, we need to question those very robustly. But having an overwhelming confidence in your trust in life, or your ease in life, or your internal swag, those are all good things. it's good to be confident. Confidence gives us power. False confidence is a different story where we're really not confident at all, but we project this confidence or this bravado into everything that we do. Questionable. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here is it's good to have confidence. And like if I did this video and I couldn't say how I felt, I was unconfident in my own original just expression. I don't think that would be. I don't think I should have to question all of that. It's a flowing, it's an outpouring, it's a flowing, it's just a freedom and an ease. And then I am myself. I can say how I feel spontaneously without any preconceived notion of what the heck I'm even saying. I have no idea what's going to come. I have a feeling that I don't even know, and so I create a space to express it, and something happens. That I think is organic and beautiful. But having overconfidence in this is the right way, everyone should do this, and this. This is the right way. This is reality. This is truth. I would say, yeah, you should probably look into that overconfidence and ask why you're so overconfident. What are you overcompensating for? I think that's key here.
The more sure you feel of something, the more you must realize that Maya is trying to shut the doors to inquiry. Confidence is your enemy. Catch the inner thief red-handed. Look at its functioning. See how it manipulates and distorts. See how it has preset conclusions and then it fabricates arguments in favor of the conclusions. That's such a bad way of arguing and concluding, no?
It is.
If you do that in any of the sciences or in economics, statistics, commerce, accounting, anywhere, even in humanity.
Yeah, if you start getting offended that people just don't objectively see the way you see, and you're offended by that, and you need to really show them the way and why. I mean, that's overconfidence and getting someone to see everything the way you do. And again, that's not your friend.
Humanities. If you have a ready-made conclusion, and then you manufacture arguments to support that conclusion, you would be called a third-rate philosopher.
Dang!
No?
Am I a third-rate
A
philosopher?
third-rate arguer. But that's what we all do internally.
It's true. It's true.
My kid is the best, my choices are all right. That's something already proven, well in advance. And then you have to come up with arguments to somehow justify your choice. And we do not even know why we have already concluded in a particular way. But that's something we need to know. Because the one sitting inside is not your friend. Please.
Yeah, oftentimes.
The one who sits inside of us is not our friend. It's the false I. It's a usurper.
Bingo!
It has taken over, stolen somebody else's name. The real I is something else, somebody else. The one who sits inside us has stolen the name. How can this thief be our friend?
Beautifully said.
Where is this thief coming from?
Where?
It's not homegrown.
Where's it coming from?
Arising from inside. It is coming from here and there.
Yeah.
It's not our
External,
innate
our environment.
sense of self. It's a biological and social sense of self.
Yep.
Mostly random, time bound, conditioned. Influences of family, culture, religion, education, media, and the rest
Boom.
of it. When it's coming from all these external places, How do we call it I? How do you feel if I say you, sir, you are sitting there, you are 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 all over the place? Does that make sense? So physically, we want to be unit, right? An integrated unit. There has to be a certain oneness. No? This is me, and if this is me, that is, please tell me, that is not me. And if this is me, then that's not me, that's not me. But look at how it operates internally, psychologically. Here. When it comes to your arm is at one place and it cannot be coming from 5 other places. But look at what you have here. It's coming from 5,000 different places, and the flux is continuous. The tragedy is unmitigated. Continuous movement of influences, and these are coming from everywhere. Here. And yet we manage to call the content here as
Us,
my own.
me,
How
I.
is it my own?
It's not.
How
Bingo.
do I say?
That's beautiful. So, that theory right there showcases to us that our own minds are not the I. It's not us. It's a collection. It's a collection. It's a curation of a lot of content that you're picking up mostly unconsciously that is stored there. And when we start attaching to every single thought that comes into purview of our consciousness, we start identifying with these different thoughts, and then we get on these train tracks. And we have these tracks going in our mind that are also many more below the surface, like let's say dozens, if not hundreds more tracks going on subconsciously that are controlling us. And so at least we can control the conscious level on what tracks we're focusing on or sticking to. So you might as well decide that if the mind's not us, well, this isn't us, this isn't us, this isn't us, this isn't us, this. So why am I holding on to and being gripped by these thoughts? And can I decide to only or peel away the tracks, make sure I don't flip you guys off, the tracks that are only serving me, that are adding value to my life, and I'm going to focus in on these higher conscious tracks that give me this ease and freedom in life, and not be stuck to things that make me feel low value, fearful, afraid, bogged down. And so we can orchestrate our own mind and track it out the way that we want to. Or you can just let go of it all and be spontaneous and free. But the overall reason I stopped the video is to showcase that you're not your own mind. It's always going to go. It's always going to go. The way you can do it is just to tune it out and not take any of it so gosh darn seriously. Easier said than done, right? Not an easy thing. I think it's the greatest challenge in human existence right now is how do we use this as a source of strength and ease and humor and lightness and spiritual, if there's a vibration of frequencies within us, the light within us, how do we go from all this lower depression BS, and how do we supersede that and to get to those higher states of love, ease, relaxation, not bogged down by this incredible machine. It's an incredible machine. I mean, it's a supercomputer of life, right? So let's use it to our advantage, not our disadvantage. Although it's not you, you have total dominion over it too. There's something that supersedes this intellect, which is pretty cool to think. So if we're not our mind, what are we? I don't know how to explain it, but we're definitely something above it, beyond it. But once we get kind of trapped into it, the ego, we can call the mind the ego almost, and we start identifying with this lower self that's always afraid, always trying to come up with conclusions and assumptions about everything. That's power when we have that awareness. Then the mind starts shutting down in the way that it's just not always shuts down. It flows more harmonically. And that's what I think the state we're going for is we're going for a beautiful level of harmony within our energy system. That's pretty cool to think about.
I am thinking. You're hurting, coming from everywhere. Here. And yet we manage to call the content here as my own. How is it my own? How do I say, I am thinking? You're hurting my feelings. Are your feelings your own? Really?
Probably not.
Are any of your concepts your own?
Probably not.
A little hit on the head, and if you lose your memory, would these concepts stay with you?
Nope.
How are they your own?
So that's a good point.
They are things stored in your memory.
That's a good point.
Stored in memory and picked up by the ego to associate with.
Yep.
How
Bam!
is this, anything here, how is it your own?
AP just nailed it. It's beautiful. If I knocked you in the head and you lost your memory, so you wouldn't be bogged down by all the BS. So why are you bogged down by the BS? Because we attach to it and we identify it and then we churn on it, mentally churn on it. That's our diet for our mind. We got to change our diet, folks. We got to change our diet.
My caste, my geography, my nationality.
It's true. Let's think about it. Like if I got bonked over the head and I didn't know where I was from, I wouldn't have any feelings associated with any inferiority that might stem from coming from a very poor single parent family. That's pretty huge. So it shows us how much stuff that is stuck to us without even conscious thought. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy.
My aims, targets, hopes, dreams, are they our own?
Nope.
If we ask a set of people like we have here to write down their dreams, please enumerate 5 top dreams you have. I guess there would be a 50 to 80% commonality. And I might be underestimating. How is it possible if we are individuals?
That's a really good point. If there's that much similarity in everyone's dreams and goals, are they really our own? Why is there an 80% commonality between everyone's same exact goals in life when there's 8 billion people on the planet? That's insane. That's insane.
How is it possible that we all have so very common dreams? How is it possible?
Programming.
Does that not trigger suspicion? Huh? Prima facie, does that not point towards a need for inquiry? Something very dangerous is happening inside. And what's the danger? I am not at all there inside. I am calling it my insights. The fact is, inside of me, there is very little of me.
Dang.
How big a danger is that?
Pretty big danger.
That's a danger that the learned ones have called a danger bigger than death. Bigger than death, to the extent that they say that you are not even alive. They say you need to take birth. This that emerges from the mother's womb is just a thing of flesh. You cannot call that thing as living, alive, or conscious. Life is for the sake of actually attaining birth.
Oof. Guys, let's birth ourselves. Let's get rid of all the narratives, all the programming, all the what we should be's and could be's and are supposed to be's. Definitely the supposed to be's. At this age, I'm supposed to be this. As a man, I'm supposed to be that. As a this, I'm supposed to be that. Let's let all that go and really birth our beautiful, individual, spiritual frequency, the unique frequency that is us. And let's be that unique flare, that unique spark that is untainted by all the noise on what we should be doing and how I should behave and blah, 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 blah. I love that. This original spark. That's what makes, honestly, you attractive anyway. It's not like being like everybody else. It's like being that original spark. That's what makes you like interesting, potent. You're also in alignment with yourself, and so it's just even a greater presence. Yeah, a greater presence, a greater radiance. I think when we get it in tune with that, the radiance of our true selves, our authentic selves, beyond the pressures that have been instilled into us, that's where the magic and flow of life happen. Indeed.
And you attain birth when you are able, via the process of self-inquiry, to cleanse yourself of all that is not you. When that, only that remains, that's just me, pure me. That's when you can claim that you are now alive. And that's the point referred to as Jivan Mukti.
Jivan Mukti?
And that's the point referred to as Jivan Mukti.
Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti.
Point referred to as Jivan Mukti.
Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti. I want to experience Jivan Mukti.
So how big a danger is it to lead a conditioned life?
Dangerous. Pure danger.
A danger bigger than death. Death is something we see as coming in the future. Whereas this is a danger about not even being
alive.
Not even being born.
Born.
Not even being born. No, not
Crazy.
Even being born.
Crazy.
Is said to be a danger bigger than death. Most of us, well, no, that's the way of those who know. They don't mince words. They say most of us die physically without ever having taken birth. So here's the dead body. The tragedy is the fellow was never even born. He died without taking birth. He was eating, breathing, all that was happening, walking, talking, mating, reproducing, making a CV, getting a job, that's fine. The little problem is that he was never alive. All that was so conditioned, so mechanical, and we don't call machines as sentient beings, do we? So even a machine can do most of the stuff that we do. And with AI, it has become even clearer.
Yeah.
No? Everything that we do, including emoting, can be done by a machine. So how do we say that we are even born? We don't call machines as born, we call them manufactured. So we are manufactured beings, right? DOM, date of manufacturing, not DOB.
Holy cow. Holy cow.
Don't be sure of yourself. They say only 1/9 of the iceberg is exposed above the surface. When it comes to the human mind, it is probably 1/90. That's the
Wow.
extent of our self-awareness.
Did you hear what he said? So one part out of 9 parts of the iceberg is submerged above water. So that's all we see. He's saying one part of the mind, the conscious level, is exposed to 90 times the subconscious level. That's our lack of self-awareness. And that is massive. If you can somehow create 2 to 89 or 2 to 90 or whatever, 2 to 90, that's double self-awareness. And that, maybe that's enlightenment. I don't know. But my point is that there's so much we cannot comprehend about why we are the way we are. And so don't take yourself so serious. I think one of the pitfalls of life is just taking life itself so serious. I mean, guys, I understand that it is life and death, whatever, but it's all an experience. And so we can just take it over serious and just be bogged down by all the problems, or we can just take it with grace, take it with humility, take it with humor, and go like, man, yeah, there's a lot of shit out there, but let's stop focused on the shit. And let's just like, how can I take care of this moment here and just be light about it? Just like, God, yeah, my mom died, this happened, but do I have to feel so sorrowful about it forever? No, you don't. You can let it all go. And again, that's control. That's bringing control back into your life by not feeling the need to control anything. That's total control. That's total freedom. There's something very powerful about that. This lightness, like we got to have it. Like, gosh, please don't take it so serious. That's what I think leads to mental illness. Mental hiccups. I mean, I never had to sit through a Nazi concentration camp or something like that, and didn't know if I was going to survive. Had no food, no sleep. Yeah, I mean, A Man's Search for Meaning is a book all about that. It's finding meaning during a process that you go through in that exact situation. So there can be lightness. There can be something beyond our circumstances that we can orchestrate internally, where we do not have to be jeopardized by what's going on. People do it all the time. Maybe not always throughout their entire lives, but when people are put in certain situations, some people find they're above their circumstances. Can we be above our circumstances? Can we not be so bogged down by them? And if we find the key in how to do that, I promise you your life changes.
You will have to watch yourself continuously, dispassionately.
Oh no,
ruthlessly.
we lost audio again. Okay, you guys can hear it, but I can't. That's what's going on. Hold on, give me a second. Often. Sorry, this happens again every so often. All right.
Your words, your thoughts, your feelings, your associations, desires, hopes, heartbreaks, you'll have to observe them. Like in a case study. Yes? Huh? Yeah. The most intimate case study. Our own life, our own movements. And when I say life, I don't mean historical life. I don't mean what you were doing between the age of 8 and 18. By life, I mean that which is happening. The dynamic process itself, here, now. One will have to very dispassionately, very objectively look at oneself like one looks at a case study and see what is really happening. We say facts are the door to truth. One will have to have a fact-oriented attitude towards oneself.
I love it. Guys, we're going to end it there. This has been a very amazing video by the one and only AP, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to hang out with me today, to grow as people, grow that self-awareness, grow within more ease and trust in life, and that we don't have to get it all figured out. There's a universe that's much bigger than us, deciding for us to be here. You're still alive, right? Deciding for us to be here, which means you have a part in it, and that it's going to take care of you, and that no matter what comes your way, don't stick to it. Let it all go, move forward, and embrace the perfect now. That's true personal freedom. I love you guys. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Please like, please subscribe, please comment below. That helps push the video out to other AP fans and fanatics. And I love you. We love AP. And again, AP, thank you so much for taking the time to do these talks and lectures and informing and educating us all. Take care, guys. I will catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.